It's Tuesday, June 26th. I thought I'd take this opportunity in between the downpours here to come out and do a couple little video clips. Just to let you know, Brendan, over there in Ireland, we're also getting plenty of rain here. I know that's encouraging for you or not, because we usually send our weather systems across the North Atlantic to you, I guess. But anyway, we had a fairly decent day yesterday, but the next forecast bit of sunshine isn't until Friday, and this is only Tuesday. I haven't shown my potatoes since they came up, and I've been hilling them up. I've hilled them up twice, which is probably pretty much the last time that I'll have to do that, I guess, other than maybe a little bit. But both times I side dressed with organic 444 fertilizer. The front row there are Irish cobblers, and by far the most robust of the two. Norland, I think, is the variety in the back row, a redskin potato anyway. Not sure how readable that is, but that's my rain gauge. So far today we've had a little over 1.5 inches of rain. I hope the heaviest part of it's over with. It said heavier in the morning and showers in the afternoon. Well, right now we're in a break between heavy and showers, I guess. If you remember one of my videos from last fall, if you were watching my videos last fall, when I cleaned out the chicken coop for the last 3 times, I guess, before winter, probably, I don't know, September, October, November, I took the bedding and manure, which is wood shavings and the chicken manure, and I layered it into a bed with the compost that I had used in containers last year. I had quite a few containers with potatoes and various things growing in them. Made this bed, and I don't know what I might have said last fall that I was going to plant in it, but what I've ended up planting in it is squash, both a winter squash and yellow zucchini, and I think there's 2 or 3 cucumber plants, and then some, I guess, compost squash came up in the hoop house in the latest bed that I built. I emptied my composter into that last fall, and it must have had squash seeds, so I've moved those over, and way up at the far end here, you can't see it, I'm sure, but way up at the far end up there somewhere is a feral tomato plant that I noticed yesterday. Anyway, some of the earlier things that I put in sort of struggled, but since then they have started growing new foliage, which is much darker and greener, so I don't think the chicken manure was too strong for them. I think it's something that I will probably do again this fall, enlarging this same bed. But, give you a little closer look at some of the things. Hopefully this is the last time that I will be using this rickety tripod. I just broke down and went on Amazon and ordered myself a new one. Well, I've come inside the hoop house for a few minutes to show you a couple of things in here. I won't bother going into any great detail because there isn't a lot of difference in here from my last video a week or so ago. I did that row of short row of Chinese cabbage. I did remember that that actually is 2 rows and they've grown together, so I took some potting mix and went down the center of the row and managed to cover up the parts of the tall radishes that were exposed. And next to it there is my little clump of strawberries, both the pink blooming ones and the white ones, a couple of plants that I brought in here from outside. I'm using, as I've said before, my cheap electric toothbrush for pollination. It seems to be working very well on the strawberries. There are a lot of green ones coming along there, so hopefully I will have some strawberries for my cereal at least. Not a great deal off of those 2-3 little plants, but they've sent out a lot of runners. I'm trying to keep them going on the straight and narrow down the sides here on both sides of the plants, letting them root wherever they want to. It would be nice to have a long thin row of strawberries in here. I just finished picking my garlic scapes. It's not a lot really when you look at it, and it'll be even less when I dehydrate it, but I'm looking forward to it. I really like the, I don't know, seasoning or whatever you want to call it that I make out of this. I just dehydrate it in my cheap dehydrator, and then I put it in a food processor and grind it as fine as it can be ground. And I add it mostly to rice. I have a rice cooker. Whenever I'm making rice, I add a few teaspoons of it, and it adds a very mild garlic flavor, makes delicious rice. I'm not an expert on when to pick these things, but I either read it somewhere or watched somebody else's video, and they said once it makes that first loop like that, the sort of classic pigtail thing, that they're still nice and tender and ready to cut. So I don't know, I've never tried them at any other stage, but they do seem to be nice and tender at that stage, so that's when I cut mine. Just show you one other little thing in the hoop house before we leave here. That's one of my eggplants. The variety is Black Beauty. I only have 2 plants, and that should produce more than enough for me, but I wanted to show you the blossom. I think they're well worth growing just for the beauty of the blossom. I don't know, I manipulate it with my finger, I use the toothbrush thing, and that's the first blossom, so I'm hoping that I get eggplants out of this. Well, to close off, just a little shot of the fog surrounding my little cottage in the forest here. When I look at the overgrown perennial gardens around the house, I realize there's no reason why I should be surprised about this wet weather. If you can see, hopefully, some little bits of red in this area here. That's a large David Austin rose bush called Chianti, and it probably has in excess of 100 blossoms on it right now. It does that every spring or early summer here. And just as sure as it blooms, we get a week of rain, and all of the blossoms face down towards the ground, and that's the end of its beauty. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised about this rain. It's right on schedule. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll get this posted.